90% of people in this world don't use their brains, I'll tell you that. Anyway, that's what my professor likes to say, because I was casually wondering, how did we move from a purple movement in South Africa against gender-based violence to now having a movement against immigrants in South Africa, a country that is built on bloody wars? This is the history of South Africa from when the British first arrived at the Cape. Listen, if you missed part 1, check it out on my YouTube. I'm not posting it here again. Now, I already told you that the Dutch farmers were the first group of European foreigners to settle in South Africa, and they arrived in the year 1652. Now, these guys' descendants came to be known as the Boers, and the Boers had been at the Cape, farming the Cape, fighting with the natives of the Cape to grab land from the Khoikhoi and the Khoisan. They had also been practicing what? Slavery. Guess what? Britain is looking for a sea route to India as well, because they are at war with Napoleon. And in the year 1806, the British arrive at the Cape, and they tell these Boer farmers, sorry, not sorry, we are here to take over. The Boers are like, this is not fair. We were here first. They want to cry. But they couldn't do anything because the British had more weapons, more power. Now, in the year 1833, Britain abolished slavery in all of its colonies. And you guys know, the Boers were heavily depending on slavery for their livelihood on top of the farming. And so they were not happy. They tell Britain, no, you found us here and you take away the slavery, compensate us. Britain is like, fine, we shall compensate you. But you have to go for your compensation in London. And so most of the Boers in South Africa never received anything after Britain abolished slavery. And so they were not happy. They were like, you know what? Screw this stuff. We are going to go find our own land. And so it led to what is known as the Great Trek in South Africa. These guys decided to leave the Cape for the British and moved into the interior of South Africa. And they made their own independent states known as Transvaal and the Orange Free State. And for a while, things were okay. However, in the year 1867, a young Boer child was playing by the river and discovered a diamond, and everybody is shocked. And in the following few years, in the year 1887, more diamond deposits were discovered, and the largest gold field in the world at the time was also discovered. The challenge was both of these were in the Boer New Land now, in the Orange Free State and in the Transvaal area. And so the British suddenly needed the Boers, the ones they had chased from the Cape. And the Cape and the Boers were not willing to give it to them so easily. And so in the year 1899, it led to what is known as the Battles of Blood River, also known as the Anglo-Boer Wars. These guys were fighting for diamonds and gold. And for the first part of it, the Boers really embarrassed the British. They were winning left, right, and center. And so the British Empire did what all empires do. They burned all of their homes, killed children, mothers. Over 26,000 Boers were killed. But a lot of people also forget that over 20,000 Africans were also killed in those concentration camps that were made. And eventually, in the year 1902, the Boers surrendered to Britain. And in the year 1910, South Africa transformed into what is known as the Union of South Africa. However, leadership was given to the minority groups, and 80% of the black community was not represented. You're following?